Just to tell you the score north of the border at Hampden Park in the Scottish Cup final, it's Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0. No goals in that one, but 2 goals here. And it started fairly slow, but developed into a good half, Jimmy.
It did indeed. The first 20 minutes, it looked like 2 teams that were low in the first division playing. There weren't a lot of ideas, goalkeepers not occupied, and it looked as if it was going to be unlike all the other matches we've seen on the way to the final. But the goal brought it to life, a free kick, of course, and then the thing became a battle and a contest of some interest from then on.
What was your overview of that first half, Bob?
Wasn't very impressed by the overall quality of football. Typical British game. Needed the goal which Palace scored first to get United to come out of... I really thought, at that stage when they scored the goal that Alex Ferguson at half-time would give them such a talking to, because I mean it took that goal to get them to want to, or appear to want to, really play with urgency.
It changed them, didn't it?
It changed them, but I mean you shouldn't have to do that in an FA Cup final. It's so important. It's a typical British game without being high quality football.
Let's have a look at that first goal. Gary O'Reilly, incidentally, was 40-1 to be the first scorer in the cup final, but whether he actually got the last touch or not, we'll see once again.
It's a goalkeeping error really at the end, because I think Jim Leighton quite clearly got fooled. Andy Gray shaped to take the free kick initially, and it was going to be an outswinger. There he is, he makes the first move. Then Barber suddenly decides it's an inswinger. That means he's in 2 minds, he's in no man's land. Jim Leighton is 4 yards from his goal, there is no way back. Sadly, that is a goalkeeping error.
You can have another look at it there. There's the in-swinger, which actually caught them out. And it's a good jump for the ball there, but as you say, Bob, Leighton was stranded in no man's land, and
you couldn't blame the defender, really, could you?
No, he competed for the ball, couldn't help the fact that it bounced up like that, but as long as the goalkeeper stays in his line, as Bob says, there is no danger. You can't score with that kind of header.
If he had been on his line, it was suddenly he got so shocked, I think, by it being an in-swinger, he suddenly thought, oh, this is something to do with me, and he started to get 3 or 4 yards. But when it's hit from that area, you've not got time to get there, so he was then left short. He didn't get any footwork in after it.
Fans often wonder why one player is going to shapes up to take the kick and leaves it to somebody else. It seems such a simple ploy, but it was proven then it was a good ploy.
It's more and more, Des, like American football, all these set pieces, they're getting so intricate. We saw one earlier where Palace had about 4 or 5 goes to take it, and it was all a little bit of a con trick before they eventually took it. And in fact, Wright nearly got in, he slipped, and he would have been in acres of space, and that has been well rehearsed.
Particularly when you get 4 players who are tall and good in the air, because they have to be countered by players who are equally skillful upstairs. And with the dummies that they use and the height that they've got available, Crystal Palace, the Fawn, Gary O'Reilly, they've got good players in the air throughout the side. And so that's what causes the confusion, and teams go and win leagues through getting enough goals from dead ball movements like that because of their superiority upstairs.
Well, it might have gone 2 up after that, because Thomas shot rather tamely. But let's move on to the equalising goal by Brian Robson.
Yes, great class from Leclerc, my favourite player in the United side. I do like him. Actually, Wallace is the one that gets it out wide to him to start with. He hadn't had much of a match, but he came into it there, used his speed to get there first. Nice little flick off, gave the opportunity, the weight of that for the first time cross. That's the value of a good layback. It can be used first time. And there, of course, Robson heads it down. You can see unlucky Pemberton, and even unlucky and Nigel Martin, who Bob was nearly in tears that a goalkeeper should actually get a deflection to beat him. There's that useful ball back. You see how he's left it on the floor there? Hit that first time. That's a perfect placed pass. Over to the far post. Robson on the ball, number 2, Pemberton, just that touch, and Martin's dive is too late.
I think it's an own goal, Jim, do you know? I mean, I know it'll go down to Brian Robson, but in the end, the lad swings his foot at it in an attempt to deflect it wide of goal. If he just stood there and it had hit his leg, I would have said that would have been a Brian Robson goal. There. But once Brian Robson knocks it down and he makes an attempt to clear with his right foot, I think that's an own goal.
It was an automatic instinct on his behalf, though.
Goalkeepers' union, they are awful.
No, that's nothing to do with goalkeeping.
No. But
an automatic instinct for the fullback, though, to do that, to try and clear it in that situation.
Yes,
Nothing wrong with that, just bad luck, really, that it spun off.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just a case of who scored in the final. I mean, I know Brian Robson will claim it, but I don't think...
Well, he'll be credited.
I know you have all the Sunday newspapers. You look in all of them and see who that goal was given to tomorrow.
Well, they should be 2-1 up, shouldn't they? United.
Yes, they should, finally, because Palace then got a little worried. They lost their lead and just began to wonder, whether they were going to have the sort of day that they anticipated when they got the first goal.
Here was that McClare's chance.
Nice little touch back again there. Screwed wide, runs right across there. And
Michael Phelan, terrific ball in
that's
there.
it. That's a great cut back. You see, he tried to flick it for the far post and actually flicked just that bit too early.
I think Nigel Martin was almost amazed.
Remember that in fact it's McClare who had the first strike here. He had the first chance,
bang,
so he's miscued it. He's carried on running to his credit, which is one of the strengths of Brian McClare, and then he's having to go very quickly to the near post again. So once Phelan pulls it back so quickly, he's really done well to get into that position. He just really didn't realise he had the chance.
Well, Nigel Martin would seem to be shocked that he didn't have to make a save there. He's a bright lad, isn't he? He smiles all the time, and he looked askance there at the oncoming forward. Now, what would you do about subs, if any, in the second half? If you were the manager of either team, would you change anything, Jimmy, first?
Not at the moment, no. I think both teams are still looking to settle. They're not quite happy with their game yet. United began to look happy with their game coming towards half-time. Palace perhaps less happy with their game, so I don't think there's any reason to put a substitute on at this moment. Yeah. But I do hope that if they are going to do that, then it will be at least 20 minutes before the end. So often you see substitutes put on with about 5 minutes to go, in an effort to retrieve a game, which seems to me quite hopeless.
I've been staggered by United's approach in the first 25 minutes.
Wasn't good, was it?
Oh, no. I mean,
too relaxed,
Well, I mean, they've been bought for 2-odd million. I'm talking about Pallister there, and he's actually done quite well. But I'm talking about the big fees on them. You shouldn't have to have a goal scored against you to want to come out and to play as you can play. Mark Hughes early on was the only one who was really playing with real quality, I would say, and real urgency.
I think there are reasons by that, Bob. I think neither Robson, who's been injured for some time, nor Webb is as fit and virile in running at the moment as they might be. So in that area of midfield, or backing up Hughes up front, who was doing well, he was getting it down well and looking for support. I don't think they've really got the running power at the moment.
As we thought, Ince is doing more of the running in midfield than Webb or Robson, both of them from the England
point. Nonetheless, Robson was there when it mattered.
Well,
but the other Robson here today when it mattered is Bobby Robson, looking at the running power of those two players for England, and so are we all, because the World Cup's coming up very quickly.
Should we have a little music for a short while before we pick up the match once again?
Yes, I do like to see the band, Des, and we know the viewers do, because they write from all over the kingdom saying, please may we see the band.